Hey friends, it's Dimitri with Nebraska Streetwear. So today's August and we just started the month, but I'm going to do a month in review for July 2023. July was not the most, crazy, eventful month, as a lot of months probably typically will be during the year. But I still, learned some new things and it was, I think, overall a pretty good month. The drop went really, really well, which is always a good thing. Um, I did do something kind of interesting this drop. So I had a really popular design that I made. Like, this is the design, but I put it on a t-shirt. Um, a lot of the sizes and some colors of it sold out really quickly, which is a good thing to have that inventory cycle through really fast. But what I did kind of differently this drop was I offered the design in more varieties than just a t-shirt. Sometimes I might release something that's only a hoodie and only a t-shirt, but this time I offered it in a patch and I offered it in a sticker. I was also thinking of doing it in a keychain and a hat, but I decided to hold off on that because I kind of want to re-release the design later in the year, and I will do that and also do a hoodie. That way I can recycle the design, but not necessarily release the exact same items, and people can have a chance to get it again because some people were they didn't have a chance to buy the design, like for the black shirt. So maybe this time around in the fall they can buy a hoodie or something like that, or a keychain. Um, and what I noticed was that a lot of people, they added like a patch to their t-shirt order, or they added the sticker. So it's a good idea if you are making a design, if it works for, let's say you are selling patches, make a patch of it and then make a sticker of it. You'd be surprised a lot of people add that, and it's just gonna make your order value go up. And yeah, it's just another smart idea. Another new thing that I did this month that I have not done before ever was I released a sticker pack, but I only had one design in the sticker pack, as you could see right here. So I just had variations of the same design. I've never done that before. Typically when I release sticker packs, I like to add 5 different designs of a sticker so that the customer gets a variety. But this time I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try this. And a lot of people like this. They ordered the sticker pack, but I also released the sticker in singles. So some people, they might just want a black and green sticker, or they might just want a black and white sticker. So that is something that I'm gonna continue to do in the future, is to have the sticker pack, but then also under the same tab have them as single stickers. I think that was very helpful. I also this month, I had sticker packs up, but I'm like, hey, I need to make the single stickers for sale because they're not for sale. And I changed that, and I saw an uptick in sticker sales, which is really, really good because people were purchasing the individual one that they wanted rather than the whole pack. Because sometimes people just want one sticker from the pack. So why not offer them that? And I think also why the sticker sales and patches were up this month was because I went through and reviewed my shipping costs, and I had a little bit of wiggle room to adjust some stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna lower the shipping cost for patches and sticker packs by $2 because I had that much wiggle room. And that was a really, really good thing. I also adjusted the cost for international orders. I lowered it a little bit. I think I am either breaking even or eating the cost slightly on some of the international orders, but that's a good thing because there's more people ordering the t-shirts now than there was before, even though the shipping price is slightly less. um, that's always a good thing if you have room to adjust your shipping costs and you review them and see what you can do with it, see how you can adjust it. It's better to get more orders, but maybe you eat a little bit of the shipping costs than to have a higher shipping cost but less orders, right? Because you're making basically more profit from the actual sale of the product rather than focusing too much on the shipping costs. And as a business rule in general, you want to maintain the lowest shipping cost that you possibly can that makes sense for your business. So you have to look at what you're shipping and how you're shipping it and see how you can adjust those prices, because it might be different for certain businesses. If you are selling like blocks of metal, that's going to be much, much different than if you're selling t-shirts, and you might not have that sort of wiggle room with super heavy products that you're selling with. Another thing that I did this month, which I already made a video of, was the cycle time. So that is something that I was keeping track of. And that was super, super helpful because now I have a very accurate average time for order fulfillment. And, using cycle times, if you're just a beginner in your clothing brand or business, it might not be something that you need to focus on or worry about. It's kind of more an advanced thing, especially if you're very focused on manufacturing or if you have employees, because cycle times are very interwoven of that. But for me personally, doing it to keep track of orders was really helpful because now I could plan my schedule better. I know the average time for an order to fulfill it, whether it's, a poly mailer or a box, and, doing that was much better. I didn't make a video about it, but I did record it in my notebook. I did cycle times for folding t-shirts, and I got an average down to around 50 seconds to inspect, fold, and bag a t-shirt. And that was obviously a good thing. So now I can kind of have a rough range of time that I know how long that's going to take. And if I have Michael or someone else doing that, they have a target to basically try to keep in line with. And we can use that time to see if we can improve the process. Let's say we arrange everything so it's more efficient and we get that time down to 45 seconds or 40 seconds. The only caveat to that, though, is, and you have to be careful about this, when you're making improvements or keeping track of time and stuff like that, you want to make sure that it's not diminishing the quality. I can fold a t-shirt in 20 or 30 seconds and bag it really quickly, but I know for sure that I'm not going to be visually inspecting it, that defects are going to slide through, and that the customer is going to basically, they're going to get a defective t-shirt. This time around when I was folding t-shirts, this batch was slightly more defective. I don't know if it's the company's fault or if it's the actual t-shirt manufacturer's fault, but a lot of them had like really small like grease stains on them, which is kind of annoying. So a good like 8 t-shirts are just, I can't sell them. They're going to go in the reject bin. So that's what happens. But I would definitely miss those if I did not take the appropriate amount of time to inspect them, right? I'm not going to sit there and inspect them all day, but I'm not going to skim through it and just totally ignore that quality control in the business. So when you're making improvements, make sure that you're not skimping out on quality or safety and stuff like that. Another kind of small improvement that I made this month was, it's funny, I intuitively know this, and I mentioned this in videos before about, you want to work in a U-shaped cell. You want things to be very, very close to you so you're not walking back and forth. Now, I'll show you what's going on. So a lot of times I had my table over there and it's usually centered over there where that's where it belongs. So I would be packing boxes and hats and stuff over there. I'd be walking back and forth, and then I finally realized, oh my gosh, that is way too much walking. It's taking too long. It might not seem like a big deal, but over the day that really adds up. So now when I package orders in the morning, I typically like to package orders in the morning, and towards around 3:30, 4 o'clock before the post office starts to close, I will do a second mail run because the post office is close by. So when that happens, I will take the table and I'll just move it really, really close so that I could pack stuff more efficiently and not walking back and forth and wasting time. And that's an example of an improvement that takes very little effort and it's free. And that's the lesson from that. There's so many things that you can do in your business that require very little effort and don't cost you anything, or the cost is very, very minimal. And you should aim to make improvements like that every single day. Look at your processes, look at what you're doing wrong, get rid of the bad stuff, put in good stuff. If you keep that kind of mindset and habit for your business and clothing brand, imagine how improved your business is going to be over 365 days, even if you just make one small improvement every day. So that's why it's super, super important. And a lot of those improvements, like I said, you do not need to invest a lot of time, money, and effort into them, but they do add up. If you look at where you started from January of this year to December and you have that sort of mindset and attitude and follow through with your actions, you will notice a substantial improvement into how you're doing stuff, because I see it personally every day. I'm like, oh man, I remember when my setup used to be like this. Now it's like this. Everything's so much easier and better and faster. So definitely try to do that. Let's see. Oh, another thing that was really cool was, so I made videos about that custom bag that I was making, and I had everything in stock for this drop, which was really good. You want to do that because then the customer will get their items faster. They're not waiting. Except for the bag that was on pre-order, and I did have a good buffer time for the customer to know. I was like 7 to 10 days, and then it should get shipped out. But the items arrived much faster than what I expected, about 2 or 3 days earlier. So the customer will get their items that much faster, and their expectations will be met and they will be exceeded. So that's always a good thing. And that's because I opted to choose the faster shipping time for the product. I recommend, if it makes sense for what you're getting, to pay a little bit more to get stuff faster. I think I paid $150 more to get all the product in like 6 to 10 days rather than 30 to 40 days. It's not really good to have all that product floating around, and especially, here's the problem, because I paid for it. So if I invest that money and I'm not seeing a return on that investment in 30 to 40 days, or actually even longer than that, because you have to factor in the month, the 3 to 4 weeks it takes to actually start and finish the product and get all the inventory made. So having your product and your money float around for 2 months and you're not seeing a return on investment on that money is really, really bad. And it could affect your business in other ways. Let's say that you are making shorts for the summer season and you live in the United States. Now, if you don't plan out your schedule well and you're not, getting that stuff made early on, and let's say that you order them in spring and you kind of expect them to be here in summer, or early summer, but you choose a slower shipping time and they arrive late summer. That's a really bad thing, because your customer probably will miss out on purchasing those items that they wanted for the summer. They might go with a different brand because they're like, hey, I like this brand, but this item's not available, so I'm just gonna go with this brand because I really need summer shorts. So you gotta think about the shipping times, the schedule, all that kind of stuff when you're making stuff, especially overseas. So that's important. And when it makes sense, I would say opt for spending a little bit more on shipping, but you're gonna have a faster turnaround on your products, and you're gonna basically get that money back into your business invested. You don't want your money and product floating around for that long. It's not a good thing. The last thing I did this month was I went around in my office and I'm like, man, I don't need that here. Why is this here? This is taking up a room here. I haven't used this in 2 years. This would be way better in my house. I actually need this in my house. I was like going around and I was cleaning, just having like a spring cleaning time, but I had it in this, later in the summer. So that was a good thing. I just got rid of a bunch of stuff and it opened up quite a bit of space in my utility room, which is really good. Any space that you open up that you will, use to further invest into your business, that's always a plus. I see a lot of people, people that have clothing brands or businesses, and they just get just this enormous warehouse. Half of it is empty. And to me, that's just a huge waste. Your overhead's higher, you're paying more rent for space you're not using, heating and cooling costs associated with that, and other costs associated with that. Only get a space if you are looking to get a space, an office, a small warehouse, whatever you need. Get a space that's appropriate for your needs, not something that's ginormous. That's not flex. That's actually, you're wasting time. You're wasting time and money with that. Let's say you got a big warehouse. Imagine walking back and forth so far to do a task. That's a lot of time wasted. You want everything to be, organized well, everything to be packed well, everything to be within arm's reach. And you want it to be big enough where you're not crammed, but also that you're not walking like giant distances and everything's more expensive and bigger. You want it to be appropriate for your needs, and If it's a little bit bigger to expand into, that's always a good thing, but you don't want it to be ginormous. That's not flex, it's just a waste. So really be careful about that. And use the space that you have appropriately. Only have things in your office that are associated with running the business. Anything else, pitch it, get rid of it, take it home. Don't have it take up all the space in your office or your warehouse. So that was kind of fun to do a late spring cleaning, I guess. So yeah, that was July. There's a review in it of it. It wasn't the craziest month, but every month things, I find new ways to improve stuff, and I think that's always a plus. So if you got value out of this video, leave some comments down below, and if you have any other comments or questions, leave them down below, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.